The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabteka. And the sons of Ramah were Sheba and Dedan. Genesis chapter 10, verses 6 through 7, exegesis. So the line of Ham, we have the kingdom builders. So in a sense, we have the builders of Babylon itself and the secret foundations that lie there within, leading from Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and then the United States of America, and then the secret societies that implement the false doctrine of Revelation and Daniel, Revelation specifically, chapter 13, 14, 17, 18, which eventually Yahweh says, come out of her, my people. So we're going to get down into the specificity of that. But look, Ham's descendants, which is the foundation of this, Genesis chapter 10, right before Genesis chapter 11, the Tower of Babel, the Nimrod, who is ultimately the founder of these things. Ham's descendants represents kingdoms of power, conquest, and rebellion against divine order, which is what Nimrod's name means. It does not necessarily mean a mighty hunter for the Lord, but it's a mighty hunter against the Lord, or in rebellion of the Lord, which is why Yahweh Elohim confused the languages of Babylon or Babel. So these kingdoms, this is the origin and the foundation of it, brothers and sisters. His name means hot or black. Ham's name, it means hot or black, symbolizing earthly passion and worldly ambition. So remember, in Genesis chapter 9, verse 25, the foundational curse, the fundamental principle and the curse of this was when Noah cursed Canaan. Cursed be Canaan, Noah says, a servant of servants. He shall be to his brethren. Remember, when Canaan saw the nakedness and the shame of his father, he despised him instead of covering his nakedness and his shame like his brothers did, Shem and Japheth. So Japheth was cursed, and this is the fundamental principle and the foundation of all of this false doctrine, these pseudo doctrines that are fed to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, that the gospel of Revelation 14, the gospel of Jesus, goes out to every nation saying, come out of her, my people. So this is interesting, because while Japheth's lineage represents intellectual expansion, okay, Ham's line represents political and imperial dominion, often in opposition to Yahweh's will. So from Ham, we have Cush, Mizraim, and Put. From Cush, we have those that settled in regions of Ethiopia and southern Arabia. From Mizraim, we have the Hebrew name for Egypt, symbolizing bondage and idolatry. So we have Egypt from Ham's line. We have Babylon from Ham's line. From Put, associated with Libya and North Africa, lies of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 5. And then Canaan settled in the promised land before Israel. His descendants became the Canaanite nations, later displaced due to their corruption and idolatry, usually in rebellion against Yeshua. And then the sons of Cush, the rise of the ancient empire. From Cush, you have Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, Sabteka, and these are early tribes in Africa and Arabia, representing wealth and trading power. And then you have Ramah's sons. Ramah's sons were Sheba and Dedan, renowned for riches and gold. Their prosperity symbolized worldly luxury and material worship. So a pattern seen again in Babylon the Great. So this is the foundation of the Tower of Babel, the mighty hunter Nimrod, the mighty hunter Nimrod against the Lord Yahweh. So from Cush lines also comes Nimrod, the first world ruler who would ultimately set up the first world new order, the new world order, which we are about to see in probably in a few months or a couple years, brothers and sisters. Revelation chapter 13 will be fulfilled. The deadly wound is being healed. So from the Cush line also comes Nimrod. Okay, so there's prophetic insight in this text. The line of Ham reveals the birth of Babylonian power, both political and spiritual, or you could say political and ecclesiastical, church and state. From Cush and Nimrod arose the system of false worship, a blend of paganism, human pride, and counterfeit divinity, which is what Constantine did when he united Christianity with the pagan worship of Rome, which is the foundation of what we're reading right now. The foundation began with Nimrod, with Cush. This is what Constantine mixed in with Christianity, and this is what is taught in all of the churches who are involved with Sunday worship. I'm just going to blatantly say it. Any church that is involved with Sunday worship is involved with the false doctrines of Cush and Nimrod and Babylon, which Yahweh confused the nations and the tongues, and they dispersed in Genesis chapter 11, the Tower of Babel. So from Cush and Nimrod arose a system of false worship, a blend of paganism, human pride, and counterfeit divinity. So this spirit continues today in the modern Babylon, or spiritual Babylon, universal Babylon, which is what Catholicism means, universalism, a global religious political system united under the beast and the false prophet. Just as Nimrod sought to build a tower to heaven, modern Babylon seeks to unite church and state, exalt man above Yahweh, and enforce worship contrary to the Creator's law, which involves Sunday worship, or the Sunday institution, standing as a mark of rebellion. This is Sunday worship. Sunday worship is the mark of rebellion. Catholic Church in the Catechism, it says that the day Sunday is their mark of authority. Brothers and sisters, how more blatant do you need to be? Jesus said in Revelation 13 that you would either receive the mark of the beast or the seal of the living God, the seal of Yahweh. So there's two things, like Elijah was when he was standing on Mount Carmel, or when he was battling the 950 prophets. Choose this day whom you will serve. If Yahweh be Yahweh, if Baal be Baal. In the end time, it's going to be the same thing. It's the vulnerable, it's Sunday worship, or which is the traditions of man, or it's those who keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. So just as Nimrod sought to build a tower to heaven, modern Babylon is doing the same thing, to unite church and state in false worship against Yahweh. So there's a message of hope. Even amidst this rise of rebellion, Yahweh preserves a remnant, a loipos. His truth endures through every generation. Remember in Isaiah chapter 14, verses 1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will still choose Israel and settle them in their own land. No matter how strong Babylon influence grows, Christ will call his people out. Remember Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, come out of her, in reference to Babylon, my people, lest you share in her sins and lest you receive of her plagues. Those who heed this call will escape the final judgment and stand victorious with the Lamb on Mount Zion. This was Genesis chapter 10, verses 6 through 7, exegesis.